Freak Nation, your NHRA Funny Car points leader, Austin Prock, back in the Freak Nation. Got him off the golf course. The interview was so important, he left his buds on the golf course and those screwdrivers he was drinking. Okay, he wasn't drinking screwdrivers, but he drove home to do this interview. Austin Prock here in the Freak Nation. Austin, if you weren't out running a funny car, would you want to be a championship golfer, or you're just out there hacking?
Yeah, it would pay a lot better. That's for sure. Those guys make some coin out there, but I'm nowhere near that. I just got into golf a couple years ago, and obviously with my racing schedule, we're pretty busy. I don't get to get out and play much, but had today off from the race shop, and it's a beautiful day out here in Indianapolis.
Golfers or funny car drivers? Who's the better athlete?
Oh man, I'll just tell you one similarity. They're both very mental. They both have their different physical aspects, I guess. I think you need to have a lot more core strength to be a golfer than what I do. We're more of jockeys, but the mental aspect is definitely very similar.
More of jockeys. Austin Prock, you are one of the most modest drivers I know in the entire business of motorsports. I also read something that you said about a month or so ago that, all I do, this is your quote, all I do is stab and steer. Austin, come on. There's a heck of a lot more that goes into driving a 330 mile per hour funny car. Give yourself a tiny bit more credit.
It's my job, the way I look at it. And it's a very, if you keep things simple, it's a lot easier to, perfect things. So I just tell myself, just stab and steer and, try to do the best of my ability to get it down there, because thinking about it and worrying about it doesn't help anything on the racetrack. So if I just tell myself stab and steer, I usually drive pretty well.
And I've seen you. Okay, let's back up a tiny bit. You with John Force Racing, you and Brittany have eclipsed records. You're tied with John Force right now in #1 qualifiers in a single season with 13, something that hasn't been done since 1996. There is massive chemistry going on at John Force Racing as a whole. You guys have it going on. I don't want to jinx anything as there's 2 races left in the season, but when you say stab and steer, regardless of how good you guys have it, seemingly, I've seen you do some serious steering this season in the cockpit. How do you know? Is that a weather thing? Is that a track grip thing? How do you know when you've got a good run going and then when you don't and you really do need to steer it to the win?
I think it's a collection of all those things. Even though, we just race in a straight line per se, each one of these racetracks has so many different characteristics, different crowns, different bumps, seams that you need to straddle in either lane. So these funny cars want to do anything but go straight. If you look at any of my in-car cameras from this season, you'll see there's a lot of wheel input into the Chevrolet Camaro SS. So, when we went 381, there was an in-car camera in it, and, I had about this much wheel in it, and that pretty much puts the front tires at about a 45-degree angle. And that was, every bit of input needed to keep it going in a straight line. And, you'll see these cars, especially when you're really hauling the mail, the front tires obviously get light because you're pulling so many G-forces. So, you just really got to hang on and do the best you can, because they really don't steer all that well when the front end's light like that. So you have to catch it extremely quick to keep this thing in the center of the groove and not get yelled at by your crew chief.
But you're not hanging on successfully unless you are a good athlete. To go back to Kenny's original question, who are the better athletes, golfers or race car drivers? You are a massive athlete to steer it like you just described.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. I don't look at myself as an athlete because I feel like athletes go to the gym. I haven't been to the gym my entire life. I spend my time in the race shop and lift heavy race car parts.
Wow. Austin Prock. Crash took every question I had, but I want to follow through on something that fascinates me. I had a driver tell me once that the steering on a funny car and the front wheels is so light that what you described with the 45-degree angle, but they also said they could feel the brake in the grandstand when the wind comes through, that they have to steer against that because that'll move the car. Have you had that experience?
Yeah. quite a few times, more than not. When we go to Las Vegas, like we're coming up to in the fall, there's a pretty heavy crosswind there. Not always a crosswind, but typically there is wind. And if it is a crosswind, that racetrack's got big grandstands on the left side of the racetrack. And as soon as you get past those grandstands, that 30 or 45 mile an hour gust will literally make you feel like you got T-boned down there. So it's something that you kind of have to anticipate, but not too much, because if you're anticipating it, you're thinking about it, and you're not thinking about the task at hand, essentially. So if you feel it shove over, you just got to be ready for it. And just kind of guess on how much wheel input you need to put in it, in that first instinct to make sure you're well and safe.
So Austin Prock, points leader in funny car. I've heard it said that drivers don't have any input in the setup of the car like they do in sports cars or many other NASCAR or any other form of racing, that the crew chief makes all the decisions. Don't you have it? That is incongruous to me, especially considering what you just described. What do you have no input in how to drive the car or how to set up the car for a run?
Well, like Clay Milliken says, when you're a professional drag racer, all you can do is screw it up. You have to be perfect every time, because the crew chiefs do make the decision on essentially how quick the race car is going to go. And, they're trusting you to navigate it down the racetrack in the most straight fashion you can get. Because if you're out there moving around, you're just scrubbing speed off, just like any other motorsport, circle track racing. If you see those guys out hacksawing on the wheel, you're just scrubbing ET off of it. So that aspect is very similar in this sport, when you are going up and down the racetrack. But when one of these cars smokes the tires, 90% of the time, that's on the crew chief. Just applying too much horsepower in a certain section of the track where it loses grip, where, sometimes if you do overdrive these race cars, you can make them smoke the tires. So I guess you have a little bit of input on how it gets down the racetrack, but I'm with Clay, really all we can do is screw it up, and you just got to be perfect every time you go up there, which, I've done a little bit of both. It's not as easy as it's done.
I don't know, Austin, what you're describing is stab and steer, and I'm with Pratt. No way you're stabbing and steering. You got to drive this thing.
Yeah, well, I am. Yeah, that is driving. You stand on the gas and you steer the steering wheel, stab and steer.
You're alluding to your crew chief. Let's talk about Jimmy Prock. It's your dad, it's your brother. You've got a massive team going on there. What is the family dynamic, truthfully? They are putting this car together. They're engineering this car to go straight as best as possible, to turn on a wind light. You are driving it, but your life is in their hands. Can you describe the reality of your family dynamic? Clearly, it's close.
Yeah, well, it's everything we've ever wanted, as soon as me and Thomas, my brother, could think, we wanted to be involved in racing. And I always wanted to be the driver, and he always wanted to be the crew chief. So it's just all worked out, and, we're living our dream right now. I love racing with my dad and my brother, and I hope that can continue, in the future. We've had a lot of fun, and we sure have had a lot of success this year. And it's pretty outstanding, the season that we've had, and it's our first year working together. So the family dynamic's perfect right now. We get to the racetrack, and we all man our own corner of the team, and let the crew guys do their magic, and it's just been working out right now. So we got 2 long races to go, a lot of off weekends in between, but I sure am looking forward to getting to Las Vegas and then right on to Pomona.
Freak Nation, Austin Prock, funny car points leader, going for his first NHRA Funny Car Championship, joining us here in the Freak Nation Lucas Oil Studios. You scared a lot of drivers with this race car that you're in. In fact, we had Ron Capps on with us last week, and he talked about that car that you're in, Austin, and who he thinks of from time to time is in that car.
But, you watch the success of that car, and really that's Robert Height's car. In my eyes, Austin's done a great job. He's brought a new element to that car, but that car, who in this room didn't think that car would be fighting for a championship anyway, right? I mean, that car is outstanding. It always is. You have to go through that car regardless to win any race. I don't know how many battles I've had with Prock and Robert Height throughout the years.
Is that car any different from when Robert Height was sitting in that seat to where you're sitting in that seat?
No, very, very few things. When I was told I was driving this race car, I knew I was a rookie in the funny car category, but I knew we were going to have a shot at winning races and potentially a shot at winning the championship. I've watched this race car pretty much my whole life, and it's always, been one of the front runners, or if not the front runner. So I knew I had big shoes to fill, and it's very similar. I mean, really, all that's different is the size of me and the size of Robert, which is probably 30 pounds. So I've changed some steering. The way the steering's built in the race car, I've changed that around, just trying to get a little bit more feel in the race car. But other than that, it's very similar, and they've been building this setup for a few years now, and it's just consistently got more consistent and quicker as the years have gone on. So yeah, everything's just come together at the right time, and I've been doing a good job of holding on to the thing and leaving the starting line on time, and that's got us a few wins, but the car's doing most of the work for sure.
You got your ass kicked a little bit when you're running the top fuel car, the top fuel rail. But in this funny car, you're kicking a whole lot of ass. And you got a guy like Ron Capps and other drivers you line up next to that work their way up into successful programs. You get dropped into the John Force Racing program. A lot of folks may think, hey, it's the silver spoon, the golden child, whatever the case may be. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, because it's a freaking funny car that you've got to drive. But with your family involved, you involved, you've got to feel fortunate to be able to sit in a car where you know that every time you're going to start that damn thing, it cranks.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very fortunate to be at John Force Racing. John took a shot at me in 2019, and we got some funding from Frank Teagues, and between him and Force, we were able to get out to the racetrack and give me an opportunity. And I think that was kind of like it was going to make or break my career. If I didn't succeed in that first year, handling the race car, handling all the media, the sponsors, there was a good chance that I wasn't going to have a ride the following year. So, a lot of hard work was obviously put into my career before I went drag racing, and definitely a lot of hard work since I got to John Force Racing. He took a shot on a kid that never drag raced before, and I had to make a point, that I belong here, and I'm good enough to, win these races and go after a world championship. So, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that think I was, spoon fed or the golden child, or, whatever you want to call it, but they don't see the work I put in behind the scenes, or the work I started putting in when I was 8 or 9 years old, trying to go, racing, hustling my own sponsors. Obviously I was very fortunate to, have my family, and they allowed me to, get the race cars. But once we got the race cars, it was pretty much up to me to, make it happen, get funding to go to these races. And I just love racing. There's nothing else I want to do. And I have an opportunity of a lifetime, like I've been saying all year, driving this Cornwell Tools Chevrolet Camaro SS for John Force Racing. Like, how much more can you ask for? So just working hard, and I hope we can close this deal up. That'd be pretty special for me, and damn special for the family and John Force.
Austin Prock, again, that modesty. I mean, you are a 2019 Circle Track champion. You've got racing in your pedigree. So let's just go with this. What is that behind you? I mean, you say you don't have any drag racing, or you didn't have any drag racing experience. I see something that you studied on as a kid.
Yeah, that's actually my rocking chair from when I was a kid. My parents had that made for me and Thomas, and on the side of it actually says my name and then Crew Chief Thomas Prock. So, we were little kids. I always knew I wanted to drive, and he always knew he wanted to tune. And, that's what everybody surrounding us thought as well. So, it's been a long road coming, but it sure is cool to race with my brother. I grew up racing with him. And, when I started racing quarter midgets, I was the driver and he was the crew chief. And we worked all the way up the ranks, won a national midget championship on the pavement. And when we both got our first professional starts, we had to, split ways for the first time. I went drag racing to drive a top fuel dragster, and Thomas went down to Charlotte to work for Stuart Haas Racing as a race engineer on the Cup cars. And after a few years later, we're back working together, and life couldn't get much better.
Bro, get out of the damn way. Let's see the thing.
Oh, yeah. I got all kinds of stuff in here. I'm running out of wall space. I got to give ourselves these die cast up there. I got all these winners posters I don't have room for yet. I got to do a serious revamp in the office in the off season.
Look at that Top Fuel rocking chair.
That is badass.
That's
Me and Thomas, when we were little, we would put our tools to work on it, and our favorite tool for some reason was a hammer, and that thing was dented all it was beat to hell. And a couple years ago, my mom sent it to Tommy Johnson Jr. He does a lot of woodwork nowadays, and he totally refurbished it, and then my mom ended up giving it to me. So maybe one day if I have kids of my own, they'll have a pretty cool rocking chair.
That's badass.
wow.
Well, Prock, it's not lost on us the significance of this season for you, John Force Racing. I've got to ask the question, how's John doing?
He's doing good. I've heard from him a few times lately, and he sounds great. He's really getting back into work mode. He's in the office every day in Yorba Linda, and he's really taking rehab serious. And believe it or not, he's listening to his doctors. So he's taking everything serious and doing, making the right motions to get back to 100%. And, we sure do miss him at the racetrack, but it's nice hearing from him. Nice hearing that, he's studying the races, at home, and, he's staying up on, everything that's going on in the pit. So it's great to hear. And I sure hope we get him to a racetrack here soon. I'd love to see him in Vegas. But if not, fingers crossed for Pomona. So be great to have him out there and, have his presence back around. I feel like I got a little extra pep in my step when he's around.
Yeah, I would imagine that, again, that he's larger than the sun, and John Force showing up, I don't care if he's 100 feet away from you or 100 miles, you just know he's there, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. And, like I've been saying all day, he really has given me an opportunity, and a great opportunity. And I really do enjoy having him at the racetrack, bouncing ideas off of him, or, just cracking a laugh with him. He was always making me smile, and I tried to do my best to, make him smile and make light of things, and, just have fun out at the racetrack, because that's really what it's all about. And if you're having a good time and having fun, the results seem to follow.
Freak Nation, his name, of course, is Austin Prock, running for the 2024 NHRA Funny Car Championship, Las Vegas, and of course, Pomona. Points and a half. Holy smokes. That's going to be bananas. Buddy, thank you for taking time out. I know you made a special trip to your home to be a part of the Freak Nation.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me. And the rest of the season should be very entertaining. NHRA sure does spice it up with the points and a half in Pomona, and I'm sure it'll get run down, to the last race there. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm up for the challenge, and hoping we can get her done.
Attaboy. Austin, thank you, buddy.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
This freaking segment is brought to you by our friends at Lucas Oil. Now, what automobile do you have in the garage? I bet Lucas Oil could keep that thing fat and happy and on the road. From everyday car care, heavy-duty trucking to agriculture, hot rods, classic cars, motorcycles, and marine, Lucas Oil has what you need to keep those engines, interiors, and exteriors looking like and running like they're supposed to be. For more information, go to the website, lucasoil.com, and find the perfect Lucas Oil product. Keep your rides on the road.
Rev up your passion for speed. Mav TV Go is the ultimate streaming app for race fans. Enjoy exclusive racing, live events, groundbreaking originals, and a lot more. Anytime, anywhere, for free. Whether you're a diehard or just getting started, Mav TV Go has something for everyone. Mav TV Go, your global home of motorsports, now on the go. Download the app now.
Freak Nation, make your plans now to get yourself a new set of General tires. And if you buy 4 qualifying SUV or light truck tires, you'll get up to $100 back with a Visa prepaid card. Fall's here. Winter's coming. Wet weather. You want to make sure you're on a new set of General tires. For more information, check it out at GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com. General Tire, the official tire of SpeedFreaks for over 2 decades.
Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs are coming. Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Go to WWTRaceway.com.
Looking for power to spare? Count on an FVP battery. FVP. Verified, proven.